So, would you say that it's kind of like we're even with religion? I mean, it's obvious what's going on. It's like we've literalized the archetypes and the myths and the allegories, and they're powerful allegories. They're strong archetypes. They're amazing myths if you dissect them the right way and apply those principles to your life. So, do you think that all of religion, whether it's Christianity or Hinduism or Islam or whatever, especially some of the more, I'm saying, militant religions, do you think that that's where the pitfall is when we embody these as literal entities or tenets and things like that, when it's
Yeah, and
a myth and
absolutely,
allegory?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. When you literalize, you lose the essence of the message. You lose it completely. It's like you can read the Bible as a historical document, but if you do, you lose the whole mystical essence, which is the whole point of the document.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's really, it's education, and it's the trap for a lot of people is just that they don't have. It's like when you're not aware, and you're not aware that you're not aware, you're vulnerable to whatever. You're open, you're vulnerable, you can be manipulated. You might take on an idea, and then you turn your idea into a dogma. You turn your model of reality into a dogma that can never be questioned, it can never be altered, it can't be expanded on. And that's a really stultifying, limiting place to be. So I'm just someone who, I don't really have a belief structure. So I guess, I have to be transparent and say, I can't do it. Like for my purposes and the function I'm here to serve on the planet is to show people like the highest possible level of perspective that I can access, and then here it is. Like, take what you want from this, and then help people climb the mountain with me. As I'm climbing the mountain.
But I
And
feel like those
and
are I feel like those, you talking about climbing a mountain, there's steps in climbing. When you go up a ladder or ascend, there's steps that say, hey, here's like, you wouldn't just pick them up and let them skip these steps. Like, you have, whether it's the book or whether it's this, there are these things that again work for you, whether it is the meditation or whether, like, even those things are like these practices that we teach, and they become, I wouldn't say dogmatic, but it's a structure. It's something that's repeatable, right? And obviously Christianity or some of the other religions have done a better job at, or just a more of an ancient, when we were a more primitive people at saying that this is the way. But eventually there are these other archetypes or religions or ideas or new age or whatever that becomes like, these are the steps. Don't do this, don't do that. I mean, even Crowley had his stuff, you know what I'm saying? All of these occultists and people who even explore deep realms of consciousness come back with some steps. Like, this is what you do and this is what you don't do, kind of thing, right? Like, I feel like that is still, like, even organically part of your structure, even because you do it every day. Like, listen, I don't want to skip this. I need to do this. This helps me ground. This helps me do this. I want to take ayahuasca. I want to do psilocybin. Like, these are part of our religious, I mean, there's literally religions and cults built upon these things, and they have tenets. You need a shaman. You need this. You don't question the shaman. He's going to help you get through it. You know what I'm saying? So these structures and things that we need it. I feel like we need it. And so, but you don't feel like you have any structure. It's just like,
I guess
even if it's your own that you made up, you know what I'm saying?
I have, well, like, for example, with the DNA activation stuff in the Evolve Yourself program, that's more about giving people a transformative experience. So there is a structure inside of that is designed to produce, a transformative experience, a healing experience, an evolutionary experience, a trigger, so that they don't have to come back and repeat that same level. So, maybe 5 months later, they come back and we do the second ceremony, which is a completely different thing, which takes you into a different phase of your journey. And then, I'm not giving someone homework like, do this meditation, do that meditation, because I'm not doing it myself. My life is about embodying the truths that I have that I found.
But at the same time, if it worked for you, like, you are like mapping out what worked for you though, and like paying it forward. Like, hey, this worked. Like, why wouldn't you tell them to try the Wim Hof method or whatever it is? You know what I'm saying? Because it worked for you and it's a beautiful practice. Am I looking too deep into it or what?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm not
I'm just
sure.
using an example. Wim Hof.
I rate the Wim Hof method actually, just incidentally. It's really good. I do like certain things. Like, okay, so if you want to talk about like routines and that kind of
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
like
yeah.
structural stuff,
Well, that's what the
I'm not
rituals
that.
are, the routines. You do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like for me, I've gotten into a little bit of a habit. Like habits. Habits is really the key word, I think.
Okay.
Habits are, something that I look at as, are you forming a habit that's going to support you and expand you, nourish you, or are you just running on habits unconsciously that don't serve any purpose? So I like to get up in the morning. Usually I'll do a little bit of movement just to loosen up, open the hips up, open the legs up, open the back up. I might go outside and I might do some 30 or 40 breaths standing in the sun, of Wim Hof breathing, just a quick session of breath work, just flood the system with oxygen, all this stuff. So, at the moment, like my early morning normally would look something like that, because that's the stuff that sort of sets me up to just feel good and functional to go into the rest of the day. And, you can structure your day however you want. Like I've had structure about how to, this block of time and this block of time and all that sort of stuff. But people find what works for them.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying too. Just like paying, like I don't want to say paying it forward, but just like whether it's mapping out or saying or giving someone a plan, even like because it's what's working. Again, like, hey, this is what I do, and I say that it's not as like being dogmatic or trying to force it on somebody, but people need structure, man. You know what I'm saying? Like look at like drug addicts and you know even prison and stuff like that. Like I know people they flourish in prison. They need to be told when to eat. They need to be
Yeah,
told when to go to sleep. They need to be, so there's this, even, so that's where religion comes in. You need to be
yeah,
told how to pray. You need to be told how to commune. You need to be told how to go within, or at least taught, but some people told. And so I think that's where literally like religion means to bind or to hold back. And some people need restraints that they have never had passed down. They were never taught. They have never shown self control. So some of these structures, as far as like, hey, do this in the morning, wake up, stare at the sun. You know what I'm saying? Like take a couple breaths. And so like even just that. If you do it, if you do it like 30 days straight, it becomes a religious routine. Even if it's not religion, it becomes a routine or ritual. My morning ritual is this: I get my coffee, I get my donut, I listen to the TruthSeekah podcast. Like what is it? You know what I'm saying? So I think it's healthy, especially when it is good stuff that's building you up and like encouraging you to seek, encouraging you to go within, encouraging you to ask the bigger questions, and then tying it back into consciousness. Like,
mm,
listen, like this isn't like if you break these tenets, it's okay. There's more you can add or you can take away. Like these are things that help and stuff. And maybe I'm looking too deep into like the structure and just we just did an episode about the power of like ritual and nostalgia and like those kind of things that it helps people.
yeah, yeah. It does, and that's fair. That's a fair thing to say too, because it really does. And there are, like there are people at all sorts of places in their lives. And like you said, there are some people who need to be told when to eat and when to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Like that is true. That's not where I live. So it's hard for me to be mindful of that and think, to incorporate those kinds of people into my thinking. But there are people there are a lot of very troubled people out there. Like
Yeah.
we live in a very traumatized civilization. So, you're right. Like rituals and habits and routines give us an anchorage point, a point of orientation to then organize ourselves and organize the psyche around that and then go out from there. So if you intentionally create those rituals, intentionally choose those habits, it's a very empowering thing. So I definitely don't at all negate the power of habit, the power of routine, if you have created them intentionally, for sure. And once you do, like you internalize it. Once it's a habit, it's internalized, and it probably is invisible to you. You don't even realize you're doing it. Like me wanting to get up and stand in the sun and breathe is kind of like just what happens now. So these things are great. Like whatever it is that serves you to expand and deepen your self-awareness and to be a better version of you, like go for it. If you found something that's working, do it, and just be mindful of at a mental level, like being mindful of opportunities to continue expanding, continue seeking and understanding things at a deeper level, at a higher level.